Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us for Covenant Life Today. I'm Jay Hibbard, Senior Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Communications. It's the beginning of a new year, and we're excited to bring you up to date on all that's been happening within Covenant Living Communities and Services as we move into 2020. In this episode, we'll hear from our President, Terry Cunliffe, on how the integration is going with our newest community, Covenant Living at Inverness in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We'll learn more about some key project updates, about what our organization is doing regarding a key focus for Covenant Living, the employee experience. We'll also share some information about our upcoming Leadership Summit scheduled in February, and we'll talk a bit more about the resident satisfaction surveys and the role the survey plays in our organization. I mentioned Covenant Living at Inverness a bit ago. We'll have a story so you can see more about that beautiful community and hear from some of the residents there. And finally, you'll see highlights from the mid-level managers meeting, BASECAMP, held this past October. Stay tuned as we've got plenty to share ahead on Covenant Life Today. Terry, welcome back to Covenant Life Today. It's always good to be together, but I always feel like I start this segment by saying there's been a lot going on. And for this last period of time, there has been a lot going on in the organization. The biggest thing has probably been our acquisition of the community now we refer to as Covenant Living at Inverness in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Why don't you give the residents a little bit of update of what's going on there so they understand all that's been happening since the last time we spoke with them?
I think first of all, we should welcome Inverness into the Covenant Living family. This will be their first introduction to Covenant Life Today, and it's just been great to have them with us. I think since we closed on October 31st, we have really been focusing in on two areas. We had a really neat gathering of the central office team and the Inverness team and residents to do a blessing, to really bring ourselves together as one. That was a powerful moment of connection. I think now as we look at integrating some of the Covenant Living systems into Inverness and some of their systems into our organization, a lot of the focus has been on culture and bringing the two organizations, but the primary focus actually has been on sales. And I know, Jay, you've been really putting a solid sales plan together. Give us a couple of highlights from that.
Our focus moving forward at Covenant Living at Inverness is really to improve occupancy there. So it's going to take some time. We're starting really from square one there. They've had some challenges in the past, but we're moving forward. We have a really good plan in place. We have a full-time employee from our team that'll be there helping guide and coach that team and really execute the sales plan. So as we've said to the board, to the residents there at Covenant Living at Inverness, and to our own residents, it's going to take some time, but we believe over time we will be successful there. One of the key things is we've changed the name. So in a market where this community was known as something else for the past 15, 16 years, this new name change is going to take a little time to kind of take root. So we're actually planning a very concerted marketing effort, investing a significant amount of resources to make sure the market knows about us. We're seeing initially a great response already, but we're actually planning kind of a grand reopening of the new name sometime in the early spring of next year, just to create some excitement, some energy around that, and I think you'll see some traction starting to happen there. But we're very focused on the path of success is about increasing occupancy.
Well, we're excited to have Inverness in our family and look forward, and we'll continue to present some updates as we go along over the next year. Yeah. Speaking of projects, I think that one of the things we have talked about quite a bit is just this whole area of acquisitions and the market consolidation of senior living. And we are continuing to see a lot of activity. We get several requests throughout a month to about our interest in looking at single sites or small systems. And in fact, just in the last month, we have continued to do a couple of field trips looking at potential properties that we might be interested in. But I expect that, Jay, to continue on.
That's great. We also have a lot of other projects happening within the organization. And about a year ago, the residents may remember we did a bond financing for 3 specific projects that are underway right now. In Cromwell, the residents may be interested that we're about to start vertical construction, have the foundations ready to go, and now we're going to start going vertical, and that's an exciting period of time in the life of the community. Pre-sales have been very successful there. We're really excited about the response of the market and this new town center that will be constructed there with some amenity spaces that this community has longed for a long time for, and we'll see those come to fruition in about another 18 months when this construction is completed. So that's well underway. Residents will be able to see some exciting updates as we go forward next year. The second project is a residential expansion in Mount Miguel. And so for those people who understand where that is in Southern California, just outside of San Diego, and we're going to be constructing 30 new apartments there. So not a huge expansion, but a very necessary one for that community because we actually took down a building in order to build a new life center about 4 or 5 years ago. And then the third project, major project in the bond financing, is the expansion of healthcare, assisted living specifically, at Windsor Park. And so we're well into the design phase, hopefully looking for construction in the later part of 2020, and about a year and a half construction period there. So we're excited about the progress on all those fronts, but clearly a lot of activity in addition to all the other things you've already talked about. Back at the end of October, mid-level managers from across the country came to Skokie, Illinois for BASECAMP. It was an opportunity for training, inspiration, and much more. Here's a look at some of the highlights from that conference.
Mid-level managers gathered in Skokie, Illinois near our central office for BASECAMP 2019. Held September 30th through October 2nd, this was the first ever gathering of its type for Covenant Living and was an opportunity for these managers from all of our communities to network with others in similar positions, learn more about leading, and spending time in worship.
It was a really great opportunity to network, meet a lot of people that I typically interact with but haven't met personally. Another thing was I've got some real tangible skills now that I can take back to the community.
The author of How to Lead When You're Not in Charge, Clay Scroggins, was one of the educational speakers at BASECAMP. He inspired attendees to understand that true leadership comes not from being in authority, but rather from influencing people from the position you are now in.
I think by recognizing how much I can do by putting it into myself and being a better person myself, how important it is for me to bridge that gap between the people who I directly influence and impact, as opposed to worrying about, what's beyond my control.
Each morning began with music led by Adam Agee and Dave Stovall from the contemporary Christian group Audio Adrenaline, and devotions were led by John Satterberg, manager of chaplain services for Covenant Living. Most of all, those at BASECAMP recognized that BASECAMP is an investment in them.
It was great to see that the Covenant Living has really embraced it and is bringing it to us now. It's just awesome to see that they are really putting the employees first and giving us the tools to succeed and really implement that when we go home to our own campuses.
BASECAMP 2019, a success in leadership training and creating a renewed sense of helping all community employees to perform at their full potential while serving our residents with exceptional service.
I think BASECAMP was way better than anyone could have imagined. As you watched 100 mid-level managers coming into Chicago and coming together for the very first time, and when leaders can see and meet other people that do what they do, it is a completely different sense of connection to their community and to the organization. I think that was a great opportunity. We had some of the same speakers from our prior summit that was able to really communicate and help our mid-level managers just know how to be better leaders, how to support their teams, how to coach, how to mentor and encourage team members. So I will say that as we walked away from BASECAMP, both from the speakers and from their discipline groups, and the feedback that we got from that group was just thank you, re-motivated, reconnected, and ready to get back to their jobs and lead their employees.
Coming out of BASECAMP, one of the things that you wanted to see is a better and more effective way to recognize employees and to reward them for good performance or other milestones that they might have. And that kind of started a journey for us to discover what we could do, which turned into the Covenant Rewards program for our employees. It really is exciting. It just launched, but I think the residents would be really interested to hear more about that.
I think there's a couple of things that are really, really important to how employees feel about their workplace. And one of those is recognition. The other one is appreciation. And yes, we brought in Inspired to Serve to recognize employees for really good service to our residents. But recognition is a little bit different. And this is our way of providing a national program where leaders and peers and others can recognize employees for maybe picking up an extra shift or for a milestone of making it 1-year anniversary or 5-year anniversary or 10-year anniversary. The other areas of just being able to give an employee a reward for just doing something over and above outside of just the Inspired to Serve behaviors that are part of that customer service platform. So while they go together, this is a very visible reward for them. And basically what it is, it's a point system. And employees receive a card with points, and then they can save those points, go into a portal, and they have just a wide variety of things that they can purchase. It can be big things like televisions, it can be small things like toasters or water bottles, but it's their choice. And I will say we're one of the very first senior living organizations to do anything like this. So I think we're constantly looking for ways of how can we keep our employees excited and engaged and feeling really good about coming to work every day? And then what are the tools we can give our leaders to recognize those employees in a real way?
Yeah, I think the challenge for us as an organization has always been that structure and consistency of how we've done that in the past, and this surely does provide us that consistent platform to implement this rewards program. The Covenant Life Today episode will air in January. Right on the heels of this viewing, we're going to be going right into another important training opportunity for our director level employees called Summit. We've done it for several years. It's kind of become a tradition, and each year we try to make it better and better. But as you look forward to what is coming up with Summit, what are some of the things you're looking forward to, or some of the things that we will get out of it as an organization that ultimately helps the residents?
So I think just as a reminder, what is Summit? Summit really is that gathering of department level leaders from all of our campuses coming together. Inverness will join us for the first time this year, and that's really exciting. We will gather the last week of February, coming in on Monday night with a meet and greet, so people can start to either reacquaint themselves with friends or meet new friends and coworkers, and then it'll continue all the way through Thursday. And in that period of time, I really look at it again as spiritual, professional, and personal renewal. Every morning really starts with what I call going to church before we go to work. And it's a really powerful time of devotional and praise and worship music with our friends Adam Agee and Dave Stovall. So just a really powerful time of worship every morning. I think it's the reason we do what we do. From there then, we'll go into some great keynotes. Craig Rochelle from the Life Church will be with us the first day. That is super exciting. He is a really well-known pastor, but he's also a really well-known leadership teacher. And so that's a great opportunity for our Covenant Living leaders. Clay Scroggins then will be returning. He has a new book out on just how to lead in a world of distraction. And I think that is one of the challenges as leaders, is just how do you keep that noise to a minimum so that you can actually accomplish what you are setting out to do. And then we'll close off the week with another keynote speaker with just another closing and a different perspective of leadership. So by the time our leaders go home, they will have some new techniques and some new energy. But probably the most special night is the night that we identify and we celebrate our Inspiration Award winners. And this year we have 19 from around the country who will be coming in from every area, dining and housekeeping and nursing and office. And it's just a really special night where everyone dresses up and we recognize these individuals who have been selected by their peers as just inspired people, and they inspire others to serve.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Summit's always a highlight of the year, and I think that now coupled with BASECAMP really will start to make a tremendous impact within our staff and ultimately to enhance the lives of the residents. We hope that will make their lives even better. As we look and close this time out, I know about the time that the residents will view this, they will either have already received or will be receiving what we call a customer or a resident satisfaction or engagement survey. It's important for us to get that feedback, but are there some things that you'd like to see out of that or any encouragement you have for the residents to participate?
So I think it's important for us to receive formal feedback from our residents. And while we are always open to the informal feedback through email and phone call, both at the campus level and here at the central office, it's really important for us to get that formal feedback, because it really helps us to set a roadmap of what are the things that we need to work on that will improve the resident experience every single day. And while I feel really strongly that if leaders make the employees the main event, the employees will make our residents the main event, there are still things that happen in our day-to-day that we need to improve or to focus on that will impact that resident experience. So while residents oftentimes feel, didn't we just complete that? We do it every single year, and the reason we do it is so that we can measure progress in a more consistent manner than waiting 2 years or longer for that feedback. So residents think it doesn't make any difference oftentimes, but it makes a really big difference.
Well, I almost feel like saying, whew, there's a lot going on. I think the next time we'll get together, we'll have the same kind of story to tell and some new information. But I really appreciate the time you've spent with us today, and hopefully it's been valuable to the residents. Thanks.
Thank you.
Our newest Covenant Living community is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're excited to give you a first-hand look at the community, its residents, and employees. I think you'll see why Covenant Living at Inverness was a perfect fit for our organization.
When we came a year ago in March to look, there was just something about what I saw that touched me, and I just felt at home here. The grounds are gorgeous. The people are so amazingly friendly and caring. And so I just felt like it was where I wanted to be.
We've been taking some river cruises before we moved here. And actually we don't need to anymore because it's just as luxurious and pleasant here as it is on the river cruise.
We made several visits out here, and the amenities are wonderful, and we felt safe out here.
We're like so many others, and we got great dining venues, we've got a great fitness center, we've got a beautiful campus, we've got secure campus with a gatehouse, we're in countryside, rolling hills. But as good as all that is, it's what is the living experience here that makes all the difference in the world. We have about 280, 290 residents now on campus. We got about a little over 200 associates that work here. And we are about 15 minutes from downtown. We're about 15 minutes from 3 or 4 major hospitals. We're about 5 minutes from a big shopping center and all kinds of dining venues. But yet we're out in the country with the rolling hills.
I have a calendar that seems to be quite full, and I think most of the residents are like that. We have a great number of activities at Covenant Living at Inverness, and there's always something to do.
We find time to work out. Like 3 times a week in the gym, I'm on the treadmill, and then a 3 times a week in the swimming pool.
The dinners are much more than you'd think. I mean, that's a nice getting together place. I think we got together with people.
That's really how we met a lot of people. People gather around food for some reason.
It's amazing.
After the Olympics, I wanted to learn to swim, do the butterfly. And so Catherine, one of our trainers, worked with me and worked with me and worked with me until I got it down. And now I can alternate several swimming strokes.
I think almost any retirement community would talk about being family. But I'll tell you what's different about Inverness on the family. Because we are family, but we're a loving, caring family.
The culture is extremely friendly. That was one of the first things that we noticed, is that the people who work here, the residents, they are all friends with each other. You can tell that they love each other.
We have a good country type living, laid back. Probably most of us are native Oklahomans, and you can't get much better than a native Okie.
The staff is fantastic. I really think that they choose them on their personality and then teach them to do whatever little work they have to do, because they're all nice folks.
To be able to serve and be of service to others. But I've had that all my life. So when I walked into the Inverness home, that was my aha moment. It was just amazing.
I am a better mother, I'm a better wife, I'm a better employee, leader, you name it, sister, and because of everything that I've learned from the residents these past 16 years. I mean, it's just been an amazing journey to walk along with them, and it's just been my privilege.
This is the best place for you, and it's not retirement, it's living. We want folks to come and enjoy the rest of their life. There's going to be plenty to do for everyone, and we're going to welcome all these folks.
I feel safe here. I feel confident that we will be taken care of as long as we need to be taken care of. And I just feel a great peace about being here.
There's just a new breath of life. And now we've come down the road 16 years, and we're looking at starting over again now with Covenant. And everything that we know, everything we've done has prepared us for this moment, this time, and this day and hour. And we just think the future looks brighter than anything we've ever known.
We're so glad we've been able to give everyone this introduction to our newest Covenant Living community. We're all blessed to have these residents and employees in Tulsa to be part of our family. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Covenant Life Today. We will continue to keep you updated on happenings within the organization. But until next time, I'm Jay Hibbard saying thanks for being part of Covenant Living and Covenant Life Today. God bless.